As we have our next show jumping competitor on course. This is Sarah Abel, riding Laurel Glen Raj. So again, a very special thank you to Murray and Donna Moles sponsoring our Junior AM7 show jumping event here this morning, the first class. So our AM7 show jumping, of course, combinations who have completed their preliminary first round without penalties must proceed to the jump off without leaving the arena. The bell or buzzer will be rung again to signal the athlete to start the jump off. Well, just the one rail down there in the jump off there for Sarah at the final fence. So we'll wait for the official time to come through. A time for our last competitor, Sarah Abel, in the jump-off, 34.39 and 4 jumping penalties. As we have another one of our Malanda show jumping competitors on course now, 14-year-old show jumping rider. This is Jude Dawson, and Jude is riding Flash for Cash. Thanks, Jude. That was Jude Dawson on course. Unfortunately, a rail down here in the first round, so he will not proceed to the jump off. So we'll finish on a total of 4 jumping penalties. So on we go with our next competitor. This will be Ruby Collins. PB Pagani is the horse that she's riding here this morning. If you've just joined us here in the Clive Gordon main arena, we are currently watching our first show jumping event for day number 2 of this year's Cairns Show. This is the Murray and Donamole Junior AM7 show jumping event. Our ridden classes are underway in rings 2 and 3 and 4. Our riding classes, our pony hacks, our Galloways are being judged, and our Western class is also being judged here this morning. Unfortunately, bad luck there for our last competitor, Ruby Collins. Now we have Raven's show jumping competitor, Bo Little on course. He's riding All Spice. Well, this combination here yesterday had a very successful day because they won the Angus and Vicky Lane Junior show jumping event. And Bo, regular competitor here each and every year. The Cairns Show. A very special thank you to Murray and Donamole sponsoring our Junior AM7 class. For our junior riders here today, well, unfortunately having a rail at defence number 9 here in the first round, so will not proceed to the jump off. So next to go we have Sarah Dearlove on course. Sarah's from Tolga, riding a Tana, who's a 15-year-old gelding. Well, we will add penalties of 4 for Sarah once again. Another rail coming to the ground at fence number 9 here this morning. Of course, proving very tricky for our junior riders here. Because our course set by our course builder, Mr. Rob Button. So wonderful to see all of our ridden classes being judged at the moment. Because we have our Galloways and novice Galloways and our girl and boy rider classes. See all the young riders coming out and competing here at this year's Cairns Show. They're currently being judged in ring number 3 here this morning. Now Western classes, lovely to welcome all of our Western exhibitors here this year, and Mr. Steve Thake, who's judging our Western classes. Of course, we have our Showmanship at Holder, Western Pleasure, Western Horseman, and our trail classes all being judged here today. So Renee Swanston, our next competitor, that's made her way into the show jumping ring. Forward to a great day, not only here in our main ring. Our wood chopping will be starting a little bit later on here this morning. Plenty of things to see and do. Our Fred Mould Exhibition Centre will be opening. Our Animal Nursery, the Dairy Farmers Pavilion. Our stud cattle, our dairy cattle all being judged today. Great nominations in both the stud and dairy section. Be sure to check out all the local school displays, arts and crafts, horticulture, apiculture. It's all on display here at this year's Cairns Show. Don't forget, as you make your way into the Cairns Show, grab yourself one of the free guides that'll give you a map and times for all of the events that are happening, not only here in Centre Ring but right around the showground. Well, she makes her way around the course. Renee Swanston safely over the final fence. But unfortunately, a couple of rails down in that round, so will not be proceeding to the second round of the competition. So we're getting set to watch Alyssa Stevens, our next competitor from Warragul in Victoria. And she's riding Talara Comanche. Next to go, here in our first show jumping class here this morning, the Murray and Donna Mole Junior AM7 show jumping event. Thanks, Alyssa. That was Alyssa Stevens. So we watched riding Talara Comanche. A little bit of a breeze blowing across our main ring here this morning, making it very tricky for our awesome riders here in our show jumping ring. Plenty of things to for the horses to look at, no doubt, here in our Clive Gordon main arena. So not only have they got a tough course to tackle, but they've got all of the thrills and spills and action happening around the showground as well to contend with. And great to see so many young junior show jumping riders coming out and competing here at this year's Cairns Show. So cantering forward now and approaching the first fence is Tristan Pye. Tristan's second nomination in the class. He's riding Jewel of the Crown, local show jumping competitor. So we welcome out now. This will be Jude Dawson, also with his second nomination in the class. He's riding Altitude Z. Altitude Z and HRL gelding. Well, Jude's had a busy year competing. Went down and competed all the Central Highland shows in central Queensland, taking in Emerald, Springshaw and Capella shows. And they've come back up the coast and competed from Rockhampton right through here to this year's Cairns show. Unfortunately, penalties here in the first round. It is an AM7 class, so he will not proceed to the second round. Still only one horse and rider combination has made it back for the second round as the competition stands, and that is Sarah Abel, with a time of 34.39 and just one rail down in the second round. So Lascelles Haywood, the next of our show jumping competitors, one of our New South Wales visitors to this year's Cairns show. And Lascelles is riding Little Big Town. Well, that was a nice first round there for Lascelles Haywood, riding Little Big Town. As we said, to being an AM7 class now, our horse and rider combination will come straight back in for the jump off. Good one. There's a lovely clear round here at the jump off there for Lascelles Haywood, riding Little Big Town. And a time of 30.53 and all clear. Our first double clear round. A New South Wales show jumping competitor, Lacelle Haywood. Well, once again, a very special thank you to all the grounds crew here at the Cairns Showground. They do a wonderful job. A very special thank you to our groundsman, Mr. Anthony Mignano, Mr. Chris Rose, and Mr. Chris Walton. They've certainly turned centre ring out in pristine condition. As I said yesterday, it's the Flemington of the North. Beautiful track here for our horse competitors. Well, Kaylee Stevens is our show jumping rider on course in the Clive Gordon main ring, riding Burnside. Well, it's a nice first round for Kaylee Stevens, riding Burnside, all clear. So again, a very special thank you to Murray and Donna Moles, sponsoring our junior show jumping event here this morning. The first of our classes. We have another big day of show jumping here today with another 8 classes. A wonderful day of show jumping here yesterday. Well, jumping clear here this morning for Kaylee Stevens, riding Burnside, all clear. Remember, they've got to be quicker than 30.53 to take the lead. We'll wait for the time to come through very, very shortly. Well, as we said, jumping clear for Kaylee Stevens and a time of 35.19. So that will wrap up our first show jumping class here this morning. Congratulations to all of our junior riders. And once again, a very special thank you to Murray and Donna Moles sponsoring our junior show jumping event. Folks, we'll take a short break and we will have the official results to hand very, very shortly. And also a very good morning and welcome to all of our live stream viewers. As we said, we'll have the official results and our presentation very shortly for our junior AM7 class. A big thank you to Murray and Donna Bowles sponsoring our junior show jumping event. Well, don't forget the community stage will be underway very, very shortly. The time now is 9:51. They're getting underway here this morning at 10 o'clock with Dennis Dingo Dryden and the Australian Musician and Bush Poet Show. That's coming up at the community stage here this morning at 10 o'clock. Coming up at 11 o'clock here this morning, we will have the White Rock State School Band performing. And we'll also have the Parramatta State School Performance and Cultural Dance Group. At 12 o'clock today, we'll have the Whitfield State School, Co-Kids Music and Mimi Show. At 12:45 this afternoon, it will be the Red Lynch College Performance Arts Show. So that's coming up at the community stage, but our first show here this morning is Dennis Dingo Dryden, the Australian musician and bush poet. And also lovely to welcome back here Stan and Gwen from Meat Magic, and of course they'll be performing here underneath the Tajalas Pavilion. And their first show is coming up at 11 o'clock here this morning, followed by another show at 1 p.m. this afternoon, at 2:30 and at 3:15 this afternoon. So don't forget, in the Walter Crowe Pavilion here today, we have the KV display at 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. and the Lee James Arena Dog Sports Competition from 5:30 p.m. this afternoon. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we make our first presentation here this morning for the Murray and Donna Mole Junior AM7 show jumping event. And we welcome to the presentation area our show jumping judge, and congratulations, our first place getter, Miss Lacelle Haywood, riding Little Big Town, was the winner of the class with a time of 30.53 and all clear. As I said, welcome our judge, Mr. Trevor Hyatt, down to the presentation ring here this morning. Congratulations, Lacelle, one of our New South Wales show jumping competitors that's made the pilgrimage up here to this year's Cairns show. In second place, our Victorian show jumping competitor, Kaylee Stevens, riding Burnside, 35.19 and all clear. Our third place ribbon will be awarded to Melinda show jumping competitor, Sarah Abel, riding Laurel Glen Raj. A time of 34.39 and 4 jumping penalties. Fourth place going to Melinda show jumping competitor Ruby Collins. And our fifth place ribbon will be awarded to Bo Little, riding All Spice. So congratulations to our junior show jumping competitors, and a very special thank you to Murray and Donna Mole on behalf of all of our show jumping riders, our judge Mr. Trevor Hyatt, our course builder Mr. Rob Button. A very special thank you for their sponsorship and supporting our young junior riders here at this year's 117th running of the Cairns show. But once again, as we said, congratulations, Lacelle Haywood and Little Big Town are your winners here this morning from New South Wales. Well, congratulations, Lascelles. Granddaddy and Everingham will be certainly very proud there with the win there this morning, the Murray and Donna Mole Junior AM7 show jumping event. Well, the show jumping action will continue very, very shortly here in the Clive Gordon Main Arena. And our next class is the Murray and Donna Mole 4 points and under AM5 show jumping event. That will be our next class that we will be conducting here very, very shortly. As we said, we're underway in rings 2, 3 and 4 here this morning. We are judging our boy and girl rider classes because this year the champion junior boy or girl rider will kindly receive the beautiful trophy and a sash sponsored by the Lions Club of Cairns. A very special thank you to the Lions Club of Cairns. We're also judging here this morning the novice pony hack and Century Cranes, of course, sponsoring our championship. And also a very special thank you to Coppin Construction, who are sponsoring our pair of pony and show hunter pony hacks here this morning. Our Western classes are also being judged here this morning, and we are judging our showmanship at Holder, our Western Pleasure, our Western Horseman, and our trail classes. We'll have some results coming to hand very shortly from our ridden classes, but folks, we'll take a short break now in the Clive Gordon Main Arena, and we will come back very, very shortly. So Varley Collins is our show jumping rider on course now, riding Cinder's Last Carriage. And this is the second of our show jumping events here this morning. And once again, it's an AM5 class. So as the rules stipulate, if there's more than one clear round, we will have a jump off. Now, Varley's a young lady that bases herself at Malanda. And riding the Pretty Paint horse here in the Clive Gordon Main Arena. It looks like we're jumping clear and all clear for Varley Collins here this morning, here in the first round. So our course here this year has been set by our course builder, Mr. Rob Button. Big thank you to all of our volunteers assisting in centre ring. So the next of our show jumping competitors will be local rider Renee Swanston. Well, unfortunately just carrying a rail at the first fence. And Renee is riding Oxbow. Well, plenty of fabulous food here at this year's show. You certainly will not go hungry. We have the Barbecue Brothers Australia, the Calvary Catering, On the Road Catering, Old Style Gourmet, Snits and Gigs, Little Devil Kebabs, Corley. Meldrum's Bakery Cafe, M&G Espresso, the Cafe Cart, Brophy's, Cairns, Cook Island Christian Church, Christian Mission Fellowship, Rotary Club of Cairns, Menin Pies, Freshwater Scout Group, Just Chips. And then we talk about the sweet treats. We have Candy Lane Candy Bar, Jake's Lollies, Exotic Field Candy and Licorice, Sweet and Cool World, Fruit Juice, Little Bit Cheeky Curios, J&M Dross, Mr. Whip, Sugar Rush Candyland, Craft Sodas, Sunlighter Catering, Rainbow Freezy, Slushy Hut, Georgia Miller, Summer's Ice Cream, Slushy Queen, and Very Delicious. Well, it's also lovely to welcome in this morning all of our Queensland police officers. So lovely to see our police here this year at the show. So it looks like our next competitor will be Caitlin Staples in the show jumping ring. And Caitlin's from Collector in New South Wales. Little town situated halfway between Goulburn and Canberra. Caitlin's been on the show run, commenced a show run back in March of this year. And she was one of our young riders that rode at this year's Sydney Royal Easter Show. And she's 18 years of age. She's currently in a gap year, travelling north here this year with her father Seth. And lovely to welcome her twin sister Heidi to this year's Cairns show. And she's riding a lovely horse she calls Roll With It. She's brought a team of 3 horses north this year, escaping the cold country of Collector. Well, the way that wind is here this morning, you think you were living in Collector. Well, this is the youngest horse on Caitlin's truck at the moment. And just putting it through its paces here this morning as she's coming down to approach the final fence here in the first round of the Murray and Donna Mole sponsored AM5 show jumping event. Well, she completes the course, but unfortunately there will be penalties there with a refusal and a rail down. Well, we can see we're currently judging our boy and girl rider classes in ring number 3 here this morning. Because when we speak about our riding classes, this is judged on the rider itself, not on the horse. Judged on the attire, the positioning of the rider. That's what our judges here this morning, Miss Jo Uppington and Miss Gail Iskra, will be looking for. And of course, both those ladies are 2 very accomplished show riders. Have been great success at the Royal Queensland Show and at Toowoomba Royal Show. And all agricultural shows right throughout southeast Queensland. So when we speak about our hack classes, that's being judged on the horse itself. But when we speak about our riding classes, that's being judged on the rider. So on course now we have Melinda show jumping rider Jude Dawson. Jude is riding Altitude Z, 8-year-old gelding. Great to welcome Jude and his family, of course, Dad Dave and Mum Susie and the children to this year's Cairns show. So a big thank you to ProGig, because ProGig supply all the sound equipment here at the show this year. So a very special thank you to ProGig. When you want excellence, you want the best, you must hire ProGig. Well, Jude Dawson and Altitude Jet will complete their round here this morning with 4 jumping penalties. So Ravenshoe show jumping competitor Kate Little next to go, riding Hustling Huey. Well, as we said, Dennis Dingo Dryden is currently performing down at the community stage for traditional storyteller, bush musician and poet. Don't miss this very talented performer on the community stage, and he'll also be performing in the Fig Tree area. Well, boys and girls, that time of the day where Sideshow Alley will be all open for business, so make sure you head on over to Sideshow Alley and check out all of the great rides that are being presented here this year at Australia's largest regional show. And of course, head on down to Showbags Warehouse. They're located down here in the exhibition area. And what a great range they have for sale here this year. Everybody's favourite, from Scooby-Doo to Birdie Beetle, Batman, Spider-Man. There's the Frozen Show Bag, My Little Pony, Space Jam, Power Rangers. That sounds great, and much, much more. So head on down to Showbags Warehouse for all your show bag requirements here at this year's Cairns Show. Well, Kate Little gets away around the course here riding Hustlin' Huey. We won't be too far away from our wood chopping competition starting here once again here this year. Everybody's favourite, the wood chopping. Also, if you'd like to take a step back in time, head down to Machinery Alley with the Seven Cairns Heritage Park. Watch beautifully restored machinery in action and meet the people who keep these traditions alive. From motorhomes to camper trailers, quad bikes to tractors, see the latest trends, technology and machinery. Sure to impress the young and young at heart. So Alyssa Stevens next of our show jumping riders, and she's riding Talara Comanche. Don't forget to check out the Ag Venture display as well. Come and see the Cairns crop display. Learn about some of the crops you might see growing in the north and how to keep our soils very healthy. Enter the competition to win a free family pass to the 2023 Cairns Show. So we have the Meat Magic team here once again this year. Of course, join Stan and his magical team. It is a cooking demo, a meat exhibition, or a comedy show. Join Stan Cornish and his magical meat team for a load of laughs. Their first show here this morning is coming up at 11 o'clock, and the time now is 16 minutes past 10. So Alyssa Stevens and Talara Comanche on course. Seen Sister Kaylee, younger Sister Kaylee, place second in our previous show jumping class. All the way from Warragul in Victoria. Our furthest travelled show jumping competitors here this year in Cairns. She's doing a great job here, getting Talara Comanche around the course. Not the easiest of rides here this morning, but a cold breeze here this morning coming across the Clive Gordon main arena. Certainly keeping these horses very fresh. But she completes the course. I do believe she did have a rail down at the first fence, so she'll have 4 jumping penalties in our AM5 show jumping event. If we have more than one clear round here in the first round, we will come back for a jump off to decide our winner of the class. Don't forget to check out the classical cars. Marvel at the classic cars from the Cairns Historical Car Club, and you can meet the owners. Ride a police motorbike. Find out what being a police officer is really about and climb aboard a real-life police motorbike in the Fred Mole Exhibition Centre. We have the flower beard competition back this year, the ever-popular flower beard competition. Enter the flower beard competition and decorate your beard to win a $50 voucher from New Leaf. Everyone without a beard is welcome to enter. So we welcome out now Anna Creswell, and another one of our local show jumping competitors. She's riding Sugar Bag Winter Chills. Good one, go completing the course there well for Anna Creswell, riding Sugar Bag Winter Chills. Looks like it's all clear. So we have Kelly Buckingham now on course. And Kelly Buckingham is riding a lovely grey horse called Grey Missile. Thanks, Kelly. That was Mareeba show jumping competitor Kelly Buckingham completing her round here this morning in the second of our show jumping events. And once again, a very special thank you to Murray and Donna Mole sponsoring our AM5 show jumping class here this morning. We do have show jumping penalties there for Kelly with 2 rails down here this morning. So approaching the first fence, the next combination, Stephanie Forrest riding Nigella. Well, completing her course here this morning, Stephanie Forrest and Nigella. Some results are coming through from our written classes here this morning, and congratulations, our champion most accomplished female or male show jumping rider. Our winner here this morning was Dallas Bailey, and our reserve champion most accomplished female male show jumping rider was Melinda show jumping competitor Sarah Abel. So we welcome out now on course. This is Kayla Russell. Lovely to have Kayla Russell up here at this year's show. And Kayla is riding Masquerade, the thoroughbred that Kayla rides. So Kayla, a top thoroughbred trainer, been involved with thoroughbreds, riding and loves training her whole life. She loves the breed. There's a passion for training, riding and rehoming off-the-track racehorses. Kayla's previously competed for the Australian Young Riders show jumping team in New Zealand for young riders when she was 16 years of age. She lives down at Sherborne, down there in the Burdekin. And she works for Queensland Health and is a thoroughbred racehorse trainer. Thanks, Kayla, making her way around the course here this morning for our Burdekin show jumping competitor, Kayla Russell. All clear there for Kayla Russell and Masquerade, all clear. So Claire Denson next to go as she makes her way around the course set by Mr. Rob Button in our show jumping ring. Dash for Cash, the horse that she's riding. Well, don't forget Bundy Kegs, creating amazing things with kegs at the Bundy Keg site in the 7 Historical Heritage Park area. And be sure to check out Ranger Nick. These are some wonderful free things to do here at the show. Our celebrity Aussie camp oven cooking demonstrate. He recently claimed a world record title for what? Ask him at the 7 Heritage area. Jonas Kirk, the artful bodger, will have you mesmerised with his traditional wood-turning skills, also located in the 7 Heritage area. And don't forget, boys and girls, Melville's Duck Racing. Join in the quacking good fun and watch the duck racing at the Heritage area. And we'll speak to Craig Melville a little bit later on this morning to bring us up to date with the times that the duck racings are happening here today. Be sure to check out in the 7 Historical Heritage Park, the blacksmiths. See a real-life blacksmith in action as they create a masterpieces in the 7 Historical Heritage Park. And you can also pan for gold here at this year's show. Strike It Lucky and pan for gold at the Rocky River Mining Display, also located in the Seven Heritage area. So Semi Jo O'Connor, next competitor. We welcome her into centre ring here this morning in the Murray and Donamole sponsored AM5 show jumping event. And Semi is riding Darkness, the ever reliable Darkness. Well, one step at a time. She'll be looking to jump clear here in the first round of this class to try and come back for the second round, or the jump off, to try and pocket some prize money. Again, all of our centre ring events have been live streamed right around the country, so a very good morning and welcome to all of our live stream viewers. And the time now is right on 10:30. Well, all clear there for Semi Jo O'Connor. And Darkness, all clear. So it's Mackay show jumping competitor Dallas Bailey. That's making his way around the course, approaching fence number 2. We've seen Dallas travel extensively this year. We've seen him compete earlier on the year in northwest New South Wales, down at Tamworth at the Summer Show Jumping Championships. A very successful hometown show this year at Mackay. Dallas riding Talara Balara. So lovely to welcome our redcoats on horseback here this morning. We have Leonie Lewin and Talina Young. So lovely to welcome both of our redcoats here this morning as Dallas Bailey is coming down to the final line. And all clear. And that's all you got to do. You've just got to jump clear to come back for the jump off. So Sarah Dearlove, next show jumping rider to tackle the course. And Mimi is the A Baldy horse that she's riding. Won a class here yesterday. Now we've seen this horse and rider combination, they're running a new combination here at last year's show. But 12 months under their belt, they've come along nicely. We wish her all the very best of luck, Sarah Dearlove and Mimi on course. this particular horse, formerly owned by Chrissy Bradfield from down there at Warwick in southeast Queensland. Well, we see another lovely round. There were some lovely fences, lovely lines in that round 4. Sarah Dearlove, the Tonga show jumping rider, riding Mimi. Well, once again, a very special thank you to Triple M. Triple M 99.5. And don't forget, coming up here tonight, boys and girls, it's the Esky Racing, proudly presented by Triple M. Also, a big thank you to Win News. Well, we're getting set to watch Hunter O'Donnell riding Canardi Jimmy Jean in the second of our show jumping classes here this morning. This is the Murray and Donna Mole AM5 show jumping class. Well, Hunter O'Donnell makes away around the course, but just had one rail down there, so 4 jumping penalties here in the first round. I'd like to say a very special thank you to Evolve Equipment Management. Evolve Equipment Management here this year are sponsoring the Rooftop Express Brumby Muster, and folks, that'll be held here in the Clive Gordon Main Arena here tonight. Part of our nighttime program, the Rooftop Express Brumby Muster. Their first show here tonight will be commencing at 7:15 p.m. Well, we'd also like to say a very special thank you to Neemco, Mr. Ray Fry, and the team from Neemco, sponsoring our Stud Beef and Stud Beef Arena here this year. Bega, the Great Australian Food Company, sponsoring our dairy judging. Very special thank you to Miss Bill Cheevers. New Leaf, our flower bed competition. Be sure to check out the flower bed competition in the Fred Mole Exhibition Centre. And thank you to Mr. John and Megan Welsh. Honey Providore, sponsoring the apiculture competition and naming rights to the Horticultural Pavilion. Mr. Graham Thornton and Black Star Rodeo, sponsoring the Indigenous Art Competition. Mr. Sam Martin. Well, that was Phil Stevens we watched on course and completing his round here this morning. And looks like it's all clear because Phil was the winner of a class here yesterday. Righty, no, Talara bred horse. Of course, Talara horses bred by the Fraser family, bred by former Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser's son. So a little bit of history with the Talara horses. So Kate Little next to go. And then Lenny Larrikin. Well, as you can see in rings 2 and 3 here this morning, we're well underway with our ridden classes and our Galloway and Hack and Pony classes all being judged here this morning. We'll have some more results coming to hand very shortly. So we say a very special thank you to Bendigo Bank, Cross Custom Meats, Total Exhibition Services, Advanced Rural, Coppin Construction, Neemco, Evolve Equipment Management, Malanda Meat Company, Stoller, Stoddart Security Management, Dairy Farmers, the Lions International, Cairns Taxis, Great Northern Brewing Company, Cancer Council Queensland, Explosive Arts, Showbags Warehouse, Ray White, Norlift, Bizet, the Showman's Guild of Australasia, J&R Refrigeration, Air Conditioning and Electrics, North Queensland Sale Yards located at Mareeba, Queensland Rural, Will Clean Event Services, AAB, TFH Hire and Honeycomb Sales and Service. Big thank you to all of those great sponsors here at this year's Cairns Show. And as we say, without our wonderful sponsors, the show will not happen. So very, very special thank you to all of our great partners here, sponsoring and event partners at the 117th running of this year's Cairns Show. Well, Kate Little, our Ravenshoe show jumping competitor, completing her course here this morning. So it looks like Dallas Bailey is cantering forward from Mackay. And Dallas was riding Kingston. Well, that's another lovely round here for Dallas Bailey this morning, riding Kingston, completing the course. So making their way around the course, we have Mitchell Everingham. And Mitchell is riding Pommy Jackaroo. Mitchell here yesterday was the winner of the Showman's Guild of Australasia sponsor 1 metre 30 show jumping event. Won that class here yesterday, riding Renovator. He's also the winner of the Underwood Party Hire Open AM5 class yesterday. Had a great day yesterday on the first day, winning 2 classes. And Pommy Jackaroo, a new addition to Mitch's string of horses that he's brought north this year. So bases himself down around the Gold Coast Southport region nowadays. He's all fitted down there when he's not competing on the show jumping circuit. Father Ian, of course, been coming to the Cairns Show for 50 years, celebrating 50 years this year. And once again, they make their way around the course without any difficulties here this morning. All clear, Mitchell Everingham riding Pommy Jackaroo. Well, the time now is 10:47, or 12 minutes to 11 o'clock. Kaylee Stevens from Warragul in Victoria, and Van Wilder is the name of her bay horse that she's riding. Well, don't forget, folks, to grab yourself a copy of the show guide as you enter the showgrounds here today at this year's 117th running of the Cairns Show. As we said, coming up at 11 o'clock at the community stage, we have the White Rock State School Band. They will be performing. At 12 o'clock today, we will have the Whitfield State School Co-Kids Music and Mimi Show. Now, be sure to check out the Animal Nursery while you're here at this year's show, located in the Dairy Farmers Pavilion. Our Fig Tree Entertainment here today. Once again, plenty of things to see and do at the Fig Tree Entertainment. And we have the Mad Hatters Interactive Musical Show coming up at 11 o'clock as well. So big thank you to the Totally Workwear team. The best brands at Totally Workwear. Our top brands fit out every industries. Proud sponsors of the Cairns Show. Shop local, buy local, Totally Workwear. And you can find them at 98 and 123 Scott Street, Bungalow here in Cairns. Or check out their website, Totally Workwear Cairns. Or find them on Facebook for all your business, casual, corporate, safety, healthcare, high visibility and hospitality. Totally Workwear is your number one shop. Shop local, buy local. Well, one of our HC riders now, this is Dallas Bailey. And he's riding the Finch Farm bred horse, Finch Farm Leonardo. The Finch Farm stud down there at Toowoomba here in southeast Queensland, operated and owned by Mr. David Finch, I should say, standing leading stallions and breeding prolific show jumping horses. So we'll reset the course for the second round, or the jump off, for the Murray and Donna Mole sponsored AM5 class here this morning. And there's been 13 horse and rider combinations that have jumped clear in the first round. So we'll take 13 horse and rider combinations back for the jump off to decide the winner of our class. Once again, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to welcome you here to day number 2 of this year's 117th running of the Cairns Show. And what a great day we're going to have. The weather's a little bit fresh here today, but it certainly will warm up as the day goes through. And all of our independent traders are open, so make sure you do head on over to all of our exhibition areas and catch up with all of our independent traders. A wide range of stock for sale here this year. And boys and girls, Sideshow Alley, it's all open for business. We have all the best rides in the country here, presented here at this year's Cairns Show, being Australia's largest regional show. And when you finish down in Sideshow Alley, head on over to Showbags Warehouse over here in our exhibition parade area and buy yourself one of their famous show bags. Plenty of things to see and do. We've got the Animal Nursery over in the Dairy Farmers Pavilion once again here this year, and it's great to have Melville's Animal Farm back at the show this year. And of course we have pig racing, you name it, it's all here at the 117th running of the Cairns Show. And it's lovely to welcome you all here this morning, as the time now is 10:54. So we're not too far away from hitting the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. So we'll take a short break in our Clive Gordon Arena here this morning, and we'll come back very shortly for the second round, jump-off round of the Murray and Donna Mole AM5 show jumping class, and we'll have some more results coming through from our ridden classes here this morning as well. So Kate Little on course, our first of our combinations coming back here for the jump off. Just here in the jump off, the course has been shortened up, so our competitors will be jumping a shortened course of a total of 8 fences. And our fences here in the jump off are fences 6, 2, 10, 7, A and B, fence number 8 and fence number 1. A time of 37.15 for Kate Little there. So a time of 37.15 and all clear. So now we move to Dallas Bailey, and he is riding Willark Kingston. So our first horse and rider combination come out and set the pace with the clear round. Oh, quite a big horse, stands over 16 hands. Because we measure our horses from the ground to the highest point of the wither. Just there in front of where the saddle sits, and we have another clear round for Dallas Bailey and Willark Charleston. And a time of 36.76 and all clear for Dallas Bailey. So Anna Creswell and Sugar Bag. Winner Chills is the horse that she's riding. So bred out there at the Sugar Bag Station with the Henry family at Mount Garnet, this particular horse. Well, unfortunately, we will carry a rail at the final fence. 4 jumping penalties there for Anna Creswell. We'll have a time to hand very, very shortly. Time of 41.89 for Anna Creswell. And Sugar Bag, Winner Chill. So the time to beat here in the jump off to take the lead in the class is 36.76. That's a time to beat. And now it is Phil Stevens. And Phil is riding Carico, our Victorian show jumping competitor. He said won a class here yesterday. So the idea here in the jump off is the horse and rider combination with the fastest time and least number of penalties will win the class. You'll notice Phil, he's not wasting any time, cutting the corners. But the key is he's getting his timing right as he comes down to the last fence. And once again, we see another lovely clear round for Phil Stevens riding Carico. We'll wait for the time to come through. As we said, 36.76 is the time to beat. New leader, 33.92, Phil Stevens and Carico. All clear. New leader, 33.92. So now we have young Malanda show jumping competitor, Varley Collins. And she is riding Carriage. Well, certainly got plenty of spring and plenty of speed, this little paint horse. She makes her way around the course, coming down through the combination. Well, she knew she had to be quick, but unfortunately carrying a rail at the combination at fence number 7A. So we will add 4 jumping penalties for Varley Collins, riding Carriage. $34.02 and 8 jumping penalties in total for Varley Collins in Carriage. So Dallas Bailey brings his second horse back here in the jump off, riding Wallara. So all clear for our last competitor, Dallas Bailey, riding Ballara, and 34.26 and all clear. 34.26 unofficially into second place at the competition stands. So now we're watching Ravenshoe competitor Kate Little on course. And the horse that Kate's riding is Hustling Huey. Well, she makes her way around the course here for our Ravenshoe show jumping competitor Kate Little, riding Hustling Huey. And we'll wait for the official time to come through. Well, a time of 35.88 for Kate Little, riding Hustling Huey. So now we're going to move to Sarah Dearlove, riding Mimi. And the Atherton Tablelands, Tolga show jumping competitor, where Sarah calls home. And coming down to the final line. Now, once again, we see another quick time here in the jump-off. 33.92 is the time to beat. What can she do? We're about to find out what time she is put together here this morning. Well, we have a clear round and a new leader. Sarah Dearlove, 32.25. Righty Mimi, all clear. Brand new leader. So, Mitchell Everingham and Pommy Jackaroo have got to be quicker than 32.25 to take the lead. Well, Mitch Everingham knew that he couldn't muck about. He had to be quick, but unfortunately carrying a rail, so he'll incur 4 jumping penalties. Well, a time of 31.44. It would have been the fastest time of the entire competition, but unfortunately with the rail down, 4 jumping penalties for our Gold Coast show jumping competitor Mitchell Everingham and Pommy Jackaroo. So as they prepare now, as they move into the canter transition, this is Kaylee Stevens from Warragul in Victoria, and she's riding Van Wilder. So the equation's quite simple. She has to be faster than 32.25 to take the lead. But the curse of the commentator always comes to fruition with a rail down at the first fence, so she's already incurred 4 jumping penalties. Unfortunately, bad luck there for Kaylee Stevens riding Van Wilder here this morning in the jump-off. So we can see our wood chopping competition commencing here this morning. And the time now is 14 minutes past 11 o'clock. So as the competition stands at the moment here in the jump-off for the Murray and Donna Moll sponsored AM5 show jumping class, 32.25 is the leading time, unofficially the leading time that leads the competition. So for the remaining horse and rider combinations, they have to be quicker than 32.25 and jump a clear round. So it's Stephanie Forrester's turn, and she's riding Nigella. Good one. She makes her way around the course nicely here this morning in the jump off for the Murray and Donna Mole AM5 show jumping class. So we'll wait for the time to officially come through. Time of 37.88 and all clear. So a lovely clear round and a great time of 37.88. So we welcome out now our next competitor. This is Kayla Russell here in the jump off, and she's riding Masquerade. Kayla's also a thoroughbred racehorse trainer, stables down there at Townsville. And she's competed with great success with her thoroughbred horses at Innisfail and Cairns race meetings. And she rehomes a lot of her thoroughbreds, teaches them to be show jumpers after their completion of their racing career, life after racing as they call it. And certainly a big industry now with thoroughbreds being rehomed, and you'll find a lot of thoroughbreds end up in the show jumping ring. Very intelligent, smart, versatile horses, and Kayla's had a lot of great success with her thoroughbred horses, and there's another one that's had a very successful racing career and now having a very, very successful career as a professional show jumping horse. Time of 37.71 for Kayla Russell, and all clear. Kayla, of course, she's represented Australia as a junior rider, riding in New Zealand. So she certainly has a wealth of experience. If you'd like to find out more about the rehoming of the beautiful thoroughbred animal, you can go on to any Racing Queensland or Racing New South Wales or Victorian websites, or go to Thoroughbred Sport Horse Association and you can find out more. So the final combination here this morning in the Murray and Donna Mole sponsored AM5 show jumping class, Sammy Jo O'Connor, and she is riding Darkness. To win the class, she has to jump clear and be quicker than 32.25. We wish her all the very best of luck. Well, that was Sammy Jo O'Connor there, completing her round here this morning, riding Darkness. Unfortunately, railed down at fence 7A at the combination. 4 jumping penalties. We'll wait for the final time to come through. Well, it would have been the fastest time also of the competition, but unfortunately a rail down, so 4 jumping penalties and an official time of 31.19. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'll have our winner and place getters to hand very, very shortly. But congratulations to all of our show jumping riders that competed here this morning in the Murray and Donna Mole sponsored AM5 show jumping class. Results coming through very, very shortly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we make the presentation as we welcome our winner and place getters to the presentation area, and our show jumping judge, Mr. Trevor Hyatt, to make the presentation to the winner. Of course, Sarah Dearlove taking out first place here in our Murray and Donna Mole sponsored AM5 show jumping class here this morning. Congratulations, Sarah, because young Sarah from Tolga here in North Queensland, and riding Me. She was all clear in the jump off with a blistering time of 32.25 to win the class. Our second place ribbon will be awarded to Phil Stevens from Warragul in Victoria, riding Carico. He had a time in the jump off of 33.92 and jumping clear. And our third place ribbon being awarded to Dallas Bailey, riding Ballora, all clear at a time of 34.26. Fourth place going to Ravenshoe show jumping competitor Kate Little, riding Hustling Huey, with a jump-off time of 35.88 and all clear. And our fifth place money will be awarded to Dallas Bailey with his second nomination in the class, riding Kingston, and a jump-off time of 36.76. And as we said, a very special thank you to Murray and Donna Mole sponsoring our AM5 show jumping class here this morning. A long-time supporters of the Cairns Show Society. Of course, this year the Cairns Show celebrating 117 years. And the lineup of show jumpers: Sarah Dearlove, our winner from Tolga, Phil Stevens from Warragul in Victoria, Dallas Bailey from Mackay, and Kate Little from Ravenshoe. Well, our show jumping will be heating up here this afternoon, of course, so we will have the AM5 BDO Cairns sponsored AM5 class coming up very, very shortly. So as our judge awards Dallas Bailey with his ribbons, of course, Dallas placing third and fifth respectively in the class. And also the fourth place ribbon now being awarded to Kate Little. So well done to our show jumping competitors. It was a great class to watch, and they will parade off very, very shortly in front of the Hedrick Grandstand, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So please give them a big round of applause. Young Sarah Dearlove, the winner of the class, riding Me. Well, as we said, our course builder, Mr. Rob Button, and his entire crew out in Centre Ring will set the course for our next show jumping event, which will be the BDO Cairns AM5 show jumping class. So once again, folks, we'll take a short break here in the Clive Gordon Main Arena, and we'll be back very shortly with the next of our show jumping classes. Don't forget, boys and girls, Sideshow Alley is all open for business. And as you can see, we have all the leading rides that have been presented by our show families here at this year's Cairns Show, all presenting at Australia's largest regional show, the Cairns Show. And be sure to head on down to Showbags Warehouse down here in our exhibition area and grab yourself one of their famous show bags that are for sale here this year. Plenty of things to see and do. We've got the Animal Nursery, we've got the Dairy Farmers Pavilion, the 7 News Heritage Walk, the Fred Bowl Exhibition Pavilion is all open. Our wood chopping is well underway. We've got our arts and crafts and schoolwork all situated here in the Dajalas Pavilion. So plenty of things to see and do right around the course of the showground. It's lovely to have your company here on this beautiful Thursday morning, the second day of the 117th running of the Cairns Show, and the time now is right on 11:30. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, while we just have a short break here in the Clive Gordon Main Arena, it's lovely to welcome to the broadcast box for day number 2 of this year's Cairns Show from Melville's Animal Farm, Mr. Craig Melville. Craig, great to see you here at the show this year.
Yeah, well, good morning, Jake, and it's wonderful to be at the Cairns Show. This is our favourite show of all the events we do throughout the year. There's a wonderful buzz around the grounds. We've got a great committee, great lot of workers, and some wonderful friends in the Cairns area, mate.
Well, how long have you been coming here now to the show for, Craig?
It must be knocking on 20 years now, Jake. Started with the Animal Nursery, then we've had other different events throughout the years, and this year we've got some a little bit different. We've got duck racing.
Yeah, we'll speak about the duck racing very shortly, but can you tell the boys and girls out there some of the animals that you have here at the show this year?
In the nursery this year, mate, we've got a couple of specials. One of the favourites is always the little miniature blue cattle dog. So the little blue cattle dogs are on display. We've got Bindi and Mouse and JR, the junior little cattle dog, they're in there. And then we've got a little kiddies area, which is all the little kiddie goats. So there's 8 kiddie goats. We've built them a little playground. They're bouncing around over the obstacles, having a wonderful time. And then another favourite is the llamas. So we come armed with 5 llamas this year. So you come over and get a llama selfie.
And the llama selfies are proving very popular too, aren't they?
Mate, we've had probably 1,000 yesterday alone. So I expect it to be a big number in the next day or so, mate.
1,000 yesterday. Well, we might get 2,000 a day.
I think we'll get 2,000 or 3,000, Jake. Yeah, so they're proving to be very popular. You get yourself a cup of feed and get over the llamas and get a llama selfie.
All right, Craig. Well, what about the duck racing? That's coming up very shortly too, I would take, at the next race.
We've got our first race, Jake, at 12. And then every 2 hours, we got 12, 2, 4, and then 6 p.m. tonight. So make sure you get yourself down beside the duck racing arena. Now, if anyone wants to find us, we're the grandstand. We're the opposite side of the arena is the Dairy Farmers Animal Nursery. It's the opposite side of the arena to the main grandstand. If you come across in behind there into Heritage Lane or Heritage Alley, you'll find the duck racing in at Heritage Lane.
So duck racing at 12, 2, 4 and 6 p.m. Is that right, Craig?
Yeah, certainly, mate. 12, 2, 4 and 6 p.m. this evening is the duck racing times. And we've got stars on the track. We've got Justin Beaker, Michael Quaxon, Jennifer Lopez, Quacky Gaga, Selena Gomez, Ed Sheeran. So that's just to name a few of the stars we've got on track today.
All right, well, boys and girls, you've got the late mail. Head on over to Melville's Animal Farm, situated over in the Dairy Farmers Pavilion. And not only there, Craig, when they've finished at the Animal Farm and seen the duck racing, there's plenty of things to do right around your area, isn't there?
Mate, it's amazing display. We've got Ranger Nick, the camp oven cook specialist. We've got Sand Art just across from us. Also the vintage cars. We've got living reptiles. We've got Dave with the reptiles. We've got Noel the blacksmith. We've got the pig racing happening a little bit later on. So there's plenty to see in Heritage Lane. So make sure you don't miss that as you walk around the showgrounds.
Well, there's nowhere else we'd rather be than at Australia's largest regional show, the Cairns Show. Well, Craig, you have a great day, and it's been wonderful to catch up with you here on the second day of this year's Cairns Show. All the best with the duck racing and the animals this afternoon.
No one, mate. We got beautiful, beautiful weather. Everyone's got a smile on their face, so we're looking forward to a wonderful day today.
Good on you, Craig. All the best. That's Craig Melville, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, from Melville's Animal Farm. We'll take a short break in the Clive Gordon Main Arena, and we'll be back very, very shortly. And, folks, it's lovely to have your company here this morning. We have some results coming through from our ridden classes here this morning, rings 2 and 3. And we have the announcement now, the Coppin Constructions champion Novice Galloway Hack. And congratulations, Eva Bissett O'Shea was our champion for 2022 with her lovely nomination spirit. Our reserve champion, Novice Galloway Hack, was Emily Sues with 50 Shades of Bay. Our Coppin Construction champion, Galloway Hack. And our champion for 2022 is Kimberly Cockram with her lovely nomination, KC Royal Time. And the reserve champion, Coppin Construction Galloway Hack, Michelle Matchin with Hollywood Hot Gossip. There's some results coming through from ring 2 and 3 here this morning with our ridden classes. Well, currently now, as the time now is 20 minutes to 12 o'clock. Of course, plenty of things happening right around the course of the showground. Now, coming up at the community stage, as we speak, we will have the Whitfield State School KO Kids Music and Mimi show coming up at 12 p.m. today. Following that, at 1:45 or 12:45, we will have the Red Lynch College Performing Arts. And at 1:30 this afternoon, we will have the Gordon Vale High Performing Arts. That's coming up at the community stage. Well, of course, the community stage here this year is where all the action will be happening. And the Fig Tree Entertainment is also another place where you can see plenty of entertainment that's happening here today. We have the 4CA Fred Mole Exhibition Centre. Make sure you do head on down there and check out all the wonderful displays in the Fred Mole Exhibition Centre. Because here in the behind the Hedrick Grandstand, the main grandstand, we have all of the photography, visual art and pottery. We also have our meat cutting displays here in front of the Tajalas Pavilion, and the next show coming up there will be at 1 p.m. with their cooking display. They just recently had a show at 11 o'clock here this morning. We've also got the arts and crafts in the Win News display here this year. We have our sugarcane displays. Plenty of wonderful things to see and do. Our cats and dogs all on show here this year. The bird and poultry pavilion, the goats. We've got the Machinery Avenue. We have the Seven Cairns Heritage Park. Of course, that's over there near where Melville's Animal Farm is, over at the Dairy Farmers Pavilion. We have our heritage display, our baby races, community stage, and be sure to check out the dairy and stud beef cattle. So plenty of wonderful things happening right around the course of the showground here this afternoon, and our nighttime entertainment will commence here in our main ring here tonight. It's all set to get underway. 5 o'clock will be the Australian National Anthem, followed by the first of our entertainment at 5:15, the Ergon Energy and Cairns Taxis first heat of our Queensland Pole Climbing Championships, all set to get underway at 5:15 here tonight. And don't forget, Sideshow Alley is all open for business, boys and girls. Head on over there. There's something for everybody in Sideshow Alley here this year at the Cairns Show. And Showbags Warehouse has numerous warehouses located right around the showgrounds. And in particular, they store a great range of show bags once again here this year. Of course, we feature the Scooby-Doo, Birdie Beetle show bag, the Batman show bag, Spider-Man, Frozen, My Little Pony, Little Mermaid, Space Jam, Power Rangers, and much, much more. That's all on offer at Showbags Warehouse. And as you make your way around the showground, don't forget to grab yourself one of those beautiful, scrumptious Dagwood dogs. There's plenty of food outlets here at the showground this year. That's one thing for certain. You will not go hungry. If you're looking for a meaty mouthful, be sure to head over to Barbecue Brothers Australia, Calvary Catering, On the Road Catering, Old Style Gourmet, Snits and Gigs, Little Devil's Kebabs. If you like a quick fix, head to Meldrum's Bakery Cafe, M&G Espresso, the Cafe Cart, Brophy's, Cairns Cook Island, Christian Church, Christian Mission Fellowship, Rotary Club of Cairns, Menning Pies, Freshwater Scout Group, and Just Chips. If you're looking for a sweet treat here this year at the show, head on over to Candy Lane Candy Bar, Jake's Lollies, Exotic Candy and Licorice, Sweet and Cool World, Fruit Juice, Little Bit Cheeky Curios, J&M Dross, Mr. Whippy, Sugar Rush Candyland, Craft Sodas, Sunliner Catering, Rainbow Freezy. We have Slushy Hut, Georgia Miller, Summer's Ice Cream, Slushy Queen, and Berry Delicious. If you're looking for a cultural cuisine, we have the Far North Queensland Food Incubator, Tablelands to Tabletop, Fengelhorn, Jim's Jerky, Dumpling Studio, Madame Krensky's German Sausages, Riverina Jerky and Biltong, and Rakish Curries. So that's just some of our food outlets here at this year's Cairns Show. So plenty to see and do. And while you're wandering around the showgrounds, head on over to Machinery Alley. Step back in time with the Seven Cairns Heritage Park. Watch beautifully restored machinery in action and meet the people who keep these traditions alive. From motorhomes to camper trailers, quad bikes to tractors, see the latest trends, technology and machinery. Sure to impress the young and the young at heart. We'd also like to say a very special thank you to our judges, horse judges here this morning. Of course, we have Miss Jo Abington and Miss Carl Isker and also Mr. Steve Thake. And also thanks very much to our ringmaster, Miss Faye Ryle, and all of her stewards and volunteers that have been assisting in rings 2, 3 and 4 here this morning. So we'll take a short break here in our Clive Gordon main arena. As you can see, our wood chopping is certainly well underway. And we'll come back with our next of our show jumping events here this morning. It is the BDO Cairns AM5 under 80 points show jumping championships. We certainly hope that you're enjoying your second day here at this year's Cairns show. On behalf of the entire Cairns show committee, the executive committee, and President Mr. Ian Allen, it's lovely to have your company here this morning, as the time now is 12 minutes to 12 o'clock. Well, folks, we won't be too far away from getting back underway in the show jumping ring here this afternoon or this morning, as the time now is approaching 12 o'clock, 5 minutes away from the top of the hour. Coming back in the show jumping ring with the next of our show jumping events, and it is the BDO Cairns AM5 show jumping event we will be watching. A great lineup of show jumping competitors vying for the championship here today. This will be our third class of the day. Well, don't forget, boys and girls, Melville's Duck Racing coming up at 12 o'clock. Join in the quacking good fun and watch the duck racing at the Heritage area. Make your way over there now. It's located at the Dairy Farmers Pavilion. Well, also be sure to check out the Win News Arts and Crafts Pavilion. Admire the talent and skills of local cake decorators, from wedding cakes to novelty birthday creations and everything in between. It's a sweet inspiration for all. We also have here this year the Indigenous Arts Gallery, an artistic cultural experience displayed art from children as young as 5 through to adults, located in the Fred Mull Pavilion. The steam trains are back this year. Let off some steam in the miniature steam display in the horticultural section. With an incredible attention to detail, this display always delights both young and old. So we're back underway in the show jumping ring, and Caitlin Staples is on course, riding Emma Villamigo. First horse and rider combination tackling our course. The height of our fences, and the top height of our fences in this class is 1.25 meters. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, anybody that's interested in giving the Eskies a bit of a run around here this afternoon, you're more than welcome. If you can make your way down to the Triple M marquee that's situated here at the entrance to the main ring, you can see the 2, 4, 6, 8 Eskies all lined up. And if you'd like to have a go on those Eskies here this afternoon, you can give them a little bit of a warm-up for the competition here tonight. That will be commencing with our Triple M Esky racing tonight. And, of course, part of our nighttime entertainment, our Triple M Esky racing. The first of the tournaments, I do believe, is at 7 o'clock tonight. So here in this round of our show jumping, the first round we have 11 fences in total with a combination at fence number 4. So there's a total of 11 fences with 12 jumping efforts. The height of the fence number 11 is 1 metre 30. So that's a height that they'll be jumping at the final fence. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to come down to the Triple M marquee. The Eskies are all in line, and if you'd like to give them a little bit of a test drive here this afternoon, and a bit of a warm-up if you'd like to go in the Esky racing here tonight, part of our night-time program. So next of our show jumping competitors will be Mitchell Everingham. Mitchell Everingham riding Kenai. Well, as we said, a total of 11 fences here in this round. Thanks, Mitch. That was Mitchell Everingham on course riding Kenai. Well, we all had penalties there with the rail down. One rail down. So 4 jumping penalties here in the first round of the BDO sponsored AM5 show jumping class. A big thank you to the team at BDO sponsoring our show jumping event we're currently enjoying. Well, of course, the art of show jumping, it's not judged on style or presentation. It's simply judged whether the horse and rider combination clear the fence without knocking a rail to the ground. So there's no points for style or presentation. You've just got to jump the fence cleanly. Of course, we will have, if there is a rail knocked to the ground, there is 4 jumping penalties. You can knock the whole fence down, but you still only receive 4 jumping penalties. So this is Kelly Buckingham now, making her way around the course from Mariba. Well, looks like we're continuing in our show jumping ring. Our Aussie Chainsaw Racing competitors are going to give the Eskies a bit of a tryout here this afternoon. So Kelly Buckingham comes down to the final fence and safely over the final fence. All clear there, Trevor, wasn't it? So Finch Farm Canetto and Kelly Buckingham jumping clear here today. All clear. We have our first clear round. So we welcome out the beautiful grey horse that goes by the name of Temperance, and Rockhampton show jumping competitor Mark Tompkins is in the saddle. Winning a class here yesterday, this particular combination. Good to have Mark back up here at the Cairns show this year. And they were the winner of the Underwood Party Hire Open AM7 class yesterday. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we get ready for our Esky racing here this afternoon, it's down to Nathan. Thanks very much, Nathan.
these other guys are much better.
Yeah, I think it'll go a little bit better on this, eh?
So I just see you were tweaking with something there. Have you rigged this?
No, not at all.
Oh, protest from Fiona here. Now, Fiona, how do you feel? You came second?
Oh, well, at first loser, granted, but there's a bit of a protest, so we'll see what the third umpire says, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're disqualified after cutting short a couple of laps there. Someone lost their phone. Oh, thanks, Susan. Not a problem. Thanks, guys. Well done. We've got more rescue racing coming up very shortly with our crew from the crowd. And then following that, we've got our chainsaw races over around past the poles. Now, Liam, who have we got? We've got 8 people. If you've signed up to join the esky racing now, you can come down to gate 5 here and I'll let you in. Come on in. There's an esky inside the eskier's helmets and knee pads. We'll get you to put those on.
Well, on course now in our show jumping ring, we welcome our Dallas Bailey, and Dallas is riding Blue Nickel, the next of our horse and rider combinations in the show jumping event. We're currently watching the BDO Cairns sponsored AM5 show jumping event. Well, Dallas Bailey and Blue Nickel have 2 rails to the ground, 8 jumping penalties in total in their first round competition here in the BDO sponsored AM5 class. Because the AM5 rule states in Australian show jumping, if there is more than one horse and rider combination with one clear round in the first round, we will have a second round to decide the winner, or what we call the jump off. We welcome out now Phil Stevens as the next of our competitors from Warragul in Victoria. And Phil Stevens here this afternoon is riding his nomination Baloose. So I'd like to say a very special thank you to the ground staff here at the Cairns Showground for turning the grounds out in pristine condition for our horse competitors here this year. Because always the safety of horse and rider is always paramount. A very special thank you to Mr. Anthony Milano, Mr. Chris Rose and Mr. Chris Waltham, the ground crew here this year. And as I said earlier on this morning, it's certainly the Flemington of the North. It's absolutely a pristine ring. The Honourable the late Clive Gordon, of course, the main ring. And we're watching Phil Stevens make his way around course, but we might have another esky race coming up, so we're going to throw it back down to Nathan. Thanks very much, Nathan.
down here in pretty in pink. What's your name, mate?
Jack.
Hi, Jack. Now, we've have you been briefed on what buttons to use? No, so you don't know how to go? Yeah, that's the one. All right, now, do you think you're going to go all right today?
Yeah.
All right, now, riders, I think we've all been briefed. We're going to do 2 laps. 2 laps. You go down to the Far Cairns Regional Council grandstand. There's 2 witches' hats there, around that. Come back around the outside and around for the second lap and then come back around. All right, let's start their engines. If you mount your eskies. Mount your eskies. Right, our esky racing at the Cairns Show, proudly brought to you by Triple M. Make sure you tune in to Tammy and Bodge in the breakfast show. All right, riders, are we ready? Ready, set, go! Now, if you want to turn on the eskies, we've got 2 heats tonight. Come back down tonight and join us on the esky racing, thanks to Triple M, and your chance to win $1,000 at the grand final on Friday night.
Good on you. Thanks very much, Nathan. And we look forward to the Esky Racing Heats here tonight. And, of course, folks, coming up very, very shortly, we will have our Aussie Chainsaw Racing happening here in our main ring. That's not too far away, coming up at around 12:30 p.m. Well, in our show jumping ring, we are coming back for the jump-off round to decide the winner of our next show jumping class, the BDO Cairns AM5 show jumping event. We've had more than one horse and rider combination jump clear in the first round, so we won't be too far away as we set the second round course here this afternoon. Remember, boys and girls, to head on over to Sideshow Alley. It's all open for business. The best rides have been presented here at Australia's largest regional show by all of our wonderful show families. So head on over to Sideshow Alley and be sure to head down to Showbags Warehouse as well and grab yourself one of those wonderful ranges of show bags here at the show this year. They have the Scooby-Doo show bag, Dirty Beetle, Batman, Spider-Man, Frozen, Baby Yoda, Space Jam, Avengers, Power Rangers, and much, much more. So head on over to Showbags Warehouse for all your show bag requirements here at the show this year. Be sure to check out all of our independent traders that are situated right around the showgrounds as well this year. Head on down to the Ag Venture. You can see the wonderful crop display, learn more about some of the crops you might see growing here in North Queensland and how to keep the soils healthy. We have the Meat Magic team here. We've got Mr. Stan Cornish and the team from Meat Magic, and their next show is coming up at 1 p.m. in front of our Tajalas Pavilion down here on the ground level. As we said, the time now is 27 minutes past 12 o'clock. Lovely to have Stan and Gwen here from Meat Magic at this year's 117th running of the Cairns show. Don't forget to check out Melville's Animal Farm, located in the Dairy Farmers Pavilion here this year. And you can take a selfie with Binny the dog and get up close and personally with the array of cute farm animals at Melville's Animal Farm. And you can also grab yourself a llama selfie. Here yesterday, there was over 1,000 llama selfies taken, so head on over to Melville's Animal Farm. We've got the steam trains back here this year. You can let off some steam at the miniature steam train display in the horticultural section with an incredible attention to detail. This display always delights both young and old. Gemstones and minerals swing past the Cairns Minerals and Laboratory Club exhibit in the Craft Pavilion to discover the incredible world of locally discovered gemstones and minerals. Our blacksmiths are here this year. You can see a real-life blacksmith in action as they create a masterpiece in the Seven Historical Heritage Park. You can pan for gold, strike it lucky, and pan for gold at the Rocky River mining in the Seven Heritage area. And you can take a step back in time with the Machinery Alley, the Seven Cairns Heritage Park. Watch beautifully restored machinery in action and meet the people who keep these traditions alive. So head on over to Machinery Alley. So they're just some of the wonderful things that are happening right around the showgrounds, folks. And once again, it's lovely to have your company here on the second day of this year's Cairns Show. On behalf of the Cairns Show Society and President Mr. Ian Allen, we certainly hope that you enjoy your afternoon and evening at the show. So we have three horse and rider combinations coming back here for the jump off. The first of them is on course now, and Phil Stevens, and he is riding loose. So the idea is to jump clear here in the jump off. And have the fastest time to win the class. Well, Phil Stephen completes his round here this afternoon. Riding Baloose here in the jump off. And we have a clear round to open up proceedings. We will wait for the official time to come through. Well, correction there was one rail down, 4 jumping penalties and a time of 39.49 for Phil Stevens riding Baloose. Alyssa Stevens is our next competitor, and she is riding Vertigo, the daughter of our last competitor, Phil Stevens. Also lovely to welcome to this year's Cairns show, Miss Dennis Dingo Dryden. Lovely to have you with us here, Dennis. Because boys and girls, a traditional storyteller, bush musician and poet. Don't miss this very talented performer on the community stage in Fig Tree area. So as we watch young Alyssa Stevens make her way around the course here in the jump off. So we have a time of 44.35 and all clear for Alyssa Stevens. All clear here in the jump off this afternoon with one horse and rider combination remaining. And that is Mariba show jumping competitor. And Kelly is riding the Finch Farm Cornetto. Is the name of the chestnut baldy horse that she rides. So for Kelly to win the class, she's got to jump clear and be quicker than 44.35. We wish her all the very best of luck here this afternoon. Well, we see a lovely round for Kelly Buckingham riding Finch Farm Cornetto. So we have a time of 41.43, and that will be the winner of the class. Congratulations, Mariba show jumping competitor Kelly Buckingham riding Finch Farm Cornetto will win the class with a time of 41.43, and we will have our official place getters to hand very, very shortly. And we will have a mounted presentation in front of the Clive Gordon Arena sign here this afternoon. Congratulations to all of our show jumping riders, and we complete the BDO Cairns sponsored AM5 show jumping event. We'll take a short break and we'll come back with our official mounted presentation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we make the presentation down here in front of the Clive Gordon Arena sign for our results from the show jumping ring for the BDO Cairns sponsored AM5 show jumping event. And we make the presentation to the winner of the class, and that is Kelly Buckingham. Congratulations, Kelly. And jumping clear here in the jump off, riding Finch Farm Cornetto in a time of 41.43. Our show jumping judge, Mr. Trevor Hyatt, down to make the official presentation to the winner and place getters of the class. In second place goes to Warragul Victorian competitor, and that is Alyssa Stevens, riding Vertigo with a time of 44.35. Third place goes to Dad Phil, riding Baloose, with a time of 39.49 in the jump off and 4 jumping penalties. And fourth place going to Mitchell Everingham, riding Kenai. And our fifth place ribbon being awarded to Collector New South Wales show jumping rider Caitlin Staples, riding KC Spotterbug. Once again, a very special thank you to BDO Cairns for sponsoring our AM5 show jumping class here this afternoon. And congratulations, Kelly Buckingham, having another very, very successful Cairns show this year. Taking out the winner's first place getters check, riding Finch Farm Cornetto. Another wonderful class, and we've got some wonderful show jumping classes coming up this afternoon. Of course, later on tonight we will have our Invitational Masters, but congratulations, Kelly Buckingham, the winner of the class. Phil Stevens, third place. Alyssa Stevens, second. Fourth place, Mitchell Everingham. And fifth place, Caitlin Staples. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as they parade down in front of our main grandstand, the Hendrick grandstand here this afternoon, as our red coats lead them off, please give them a big round of applause. The money of this class going to Mariba here in North Queensland. Kelly Buckingham, Finch Farm Cornetto. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a part of our lunchtime entertainment here today, we have our wonderful Aussie chainsaw racing. So without any further ado, it's down to the lovely Tamsin. Thanks, Tamsin.